here to introduce our next speaker, Sandro Pereira, who is an Azure MVP, and currently Sandro is working as integration team lead at DevScope. In the past years, he's been working on implementing integration scenarios, both on-premise and cloud for various clients. Sandro is very active in the BizTalk community as a blogger, public speaker, and technical reviewer of several BizTalk books, all focused on integration. He's also the author of the book BizTalk Mapping Pattern and Best Practices. Following the success of one of Sandro's previous presentation at the Integrate, Sandro decided to go deep on this hardcore BizTalk topic, optimizing your BizTalk server. This session will allow you to gain a better view on how to optimize BizTalk server for better performance in all phases. This presentation will aim to guide you through some of the most important steps, operations, tasks, and best practice that you need to be aware of in order to boost the performance of your BizTalk server projects. So please welcome Sandro Pereira.
Thank you. Thank you. Good morning. For those who don't know me, I'm Sandro Pereira. I work at DevScope. I am an integration guy. I'm not a BizTalk or a Logic App guy. I'm an integration guy. I work a lot with BizTalk, still my main job, and a lot of projects also in Azure in integration space. Nowadays, I'm working a lot with consultant companies and clients doing training, small trainings for their employees, assessments on their environments, troubleshooting, advising, performance, all of this kind of stuff. So if you face these problems, you want help, you can contact me. I can help you guys. Public speaker, you know, my book is on the shelf outside, BizTalk Mapping Patterns. I hope I will start a new book soon, and you have my contacts there, okay? So this session is Fast and Loud, part two because 2 years ago I did a similar session about performance here in London, and this is the next step. Okay, I could do like 10 more sessions about this, all of them different. And this is about performance, optimizing. And when we start thinking about performance issue, okay, our brain starts doing crazy stuff, always thinking these crazy tools about PAL, performance, deeply troubleshooting, and some of them are quite hard to understand that, okay? You need to, some of them be knowledge, networking knowledge, all of this stuff, you know? And for you to understand performance, you also need to understand BizTalk and the platform itself. If we do this analogy with a car, and some of you guys may see these slides 2 years ago, this is BizTalk, no? If you want a fast car, you need to have a good engine, and the engine is SQL Server, no? You can have a good engine, but if you don't have the proper tires, you'll crash for sure. So tires may be the hard drives. And of course, you don't really have speed if you go to a truck. You need to have the good chassis, slow, near to the ground for tuning. So maybe BizTalk is the chassis because the core instance of BizTalk is SQL Server, no? And you have memory, CPU, all of this stuff. And you need to be aware that BizTalk can be everything. It can be a Ferrari, a Formula One, to kill everything in front of him, except event hubs for sure. But the rest can be a Formula One, tuning for really fast. It can be a good sport car. It can be a BMW. It can be my Toyota Avensis. It's a nice car, family car, but it's good, no? I'm happy. And it can be a truck. And sometimes a truck is good also. Okay, you don't really need to push. You just need to deliver. No, the truck is good for low amount of message. No, and it always only depends in what you want to achieve. Okay? What are your requirements? It's for, do you need high volume message? Do you need really low latency, both of them. So depend what your requirement, no? And based on these requirements, you may choose a truck or a Formula One, okay? Obviously, Formula One will be expensive. I give you an example. You know these two guys, no? These two guys together, combined, they did 10 marathons. They are professional runners for me, no? And you see Kent is really happy. Steve Jan, not so sure. And the reason that is 2 days ago, and this is real, 2 days ago, they were running in London, and after 2K, Kent was saying, slow down, Steve. Because Steve is really a fast guy. But he's happy because he was able to do 4K. So Kent was happy to reach 4K. I can do 4K easily, and I'm not a runner, okay? And of course, Steve Jan is a little, I could do more. It was faster, but it's okay, okay? So slow down sometimes is good. You just want to achieve, and can't achieve that. And you have to be aware that there is no magic solution for performance or tuning your environment. It's not a formula that you can take home and implement that. It depends on several stuff. And it's also all about observation. You don't need to go deep mind and start using crazy tools because it's the right tools to use or something like that. You need to observe. What is your problem? Start observe. For example, put tracking. Okay, of course you get low performance with tracking, but tracking is for observation. Get some metrics. Okay, analyze that. All the observation that you get, you then need to analyze and investigate what is causing your problems. No? And apply fixes. Apply some changes, test it, and go back to observation, analysis, and testing again. Okay? That's when you start to improve performance. And of course, sometimes you need to be a little creative. Okay? There is no magic solution. So in terms of performance and optimization, you may have three areas. Redesign the solution. Sometimes you need that. Scaling up or out the environment, or actually tuning and optimize all of these components, layers, okay? But sometimes I can only go fast as my surrounding systems or layers, no? Steve Jan was faster, but can't say I cannot go faster, so slow down. So Steve Jan was not really for performance because Kent was slowing him down. And sometimes we need to connect to a system that is slow system, so I cannot go faster because that system is slow. Or we have some problems in all of these layers between all these platforms, and we need to be aware that BizTalk is in the middle, so yes, all of these layers surrounding him. In this session, I'm not addressing all of these. BizTalk servers are running, SQL servers are configured, database impact performance, all of this stuff. This is what I explained in my first session about optimization. The video is available in the Integration 2017. Go there and watch. Everything that is on this list, you need to be aware, okay? And there are amazing resources also that you can look at. There's a new book called BizTalk Server 2016 Performance Tuning and Optimization for Agustin Mantras. He's a good guy from Microsoft PFA. Good book, a lot of good things there. You have these, I think everyone knows this performance optimization guide from Microsoft since 2006, I think. It's now 2013 or 2016. The same, it will be in all versions of BizTalk. And of course, you have my blog, some tips you will find there. And in the future, you will find more. Today, I'm going to not deliver any demos, but I will speak and tell you a story about two of my clients. And for me, it's a success story because I was able to achieve what they required. Okay? It's not about using one technology or the other. They faced one issue, a performance problem. I was happy to solve it. So for me, it's a success story. The first one is Corticeira Amorim, is cork's leader in worldwide about cork manufacturing, wines, space, you name it. And they had issues between connecting their manufacture data to SAP, okay? And we are called, my team and I were called in, I think 1 month before go live to put BizTalk in the middle or to find at that time a solution to put in the middle to solve off these integration issues that we're facing. We end up choosing BizTalk Server and a lot of SQL Server. So this is production data. Some of them needs to be discarded, aggregated, so ATL process. So we actually did an ATL process. We didn't implement an ATL process in BizTalk, okay? We did an ATL in integration service in SQL. And all of this data were being put in a queues inside BizTalk. And this is a strange queue system. So you have the green one is what we call fast track. If a message reaches that, it needs to be delivered as fast as it can. You have the white ones, and you see a row from getting down. So it needs to follow the sequence. First type of message needs to be delivered first, then it goes to the second queue, third queue, and fourth queue. The white ones, it can be parallels, okay? If I have like 10 messages, I can send it together. But I need to send all of them. And then I need to go to the second queue, and the third queue, and so on and so forth. But the red one is different. I need to send it one by one, ensure deliver. So once I send one and get the confirmation I need to send the second, and so on and so forth. It's a quite complex system. You get the point. I was really happy. It was working fine until we get a second manufacturing on place. No one warned us about the number of messages that were being sent or you need to process. And we start small, okay? As you should start small and get bigger. So it was 5 million messages getting there. We had only one ATL process to process all of this manufacturing. So obvious, it starts to go slow. And from seconds to minutes, and if an issue happens in one of the manufacturing, it will impact the other. Also, BizTalk was pooling, and if it was getting an issue from one of the manufacturing, it will affect the others because, you know, I had this policy that I need to process the first and then go to the seconds. So we had an issue, right? And this is called redesigning the solution. So what we end up was dividing the process. Each manufacturer has its own ETL process, and we actually put BizTalk doing also parallel process in the queues. So we have this isolation for manufacturing, and one was affected, the other will not be affected. I was happy in the beginning until we get some SQL issues. We are running a small SQL database, 32 mega RAM, 2 host instance, SQL instance on that server, one for application, logic, and ETL, and another for BizTalk. And of course, if you have this 90% allocation, memory, and CPU, you start getting deadlocks and timeouts. So again, we faced a performance issue. So to solve that, of course, we knew that the problem was SQL Server. We didn't actually use any tool to just log in and see the CPU, analysis CPU, and that's it. Observation is the key. And we scale up. We end up putting 8 virtual cores 128 gigabytes, and that's the top that we read from CPU, 60%, and it's just picking up. It's not always there. And the memory is still 32%. So no more deadlocks, no more timeout. Everything was running smooth. Of course, we did more. So because we had two SQL instances, and we need to make sure that we don't affect one or the other, so ATL doesn't affect BizTalk, we end up dedicate max memory that each SQL instance can use. And of course, we put 55 each one, and we left a little for the operating system. Don't forget the operating system. Until we get another issue. And this is an issue that most of us remember from phase one, but never implemented. So we have this concept of queue, and queue is to be processed, not to historic data. But the client wants, oh, I need to get this data. Still, I want to be able to have the data for a long period of time. And we end up get 1 million records on the queue, each queue table. And of course, when you get bigger, and we are heavily pulling from that queues, you start getting some timeouts, taking more time, and so on. So, easy thing. Just this is like the concept of BizTalk. There is the process queuings and go to DTA. That is historic data. And we did exactly the same. And this should be the day one, okay? Because moving small amount of data from a database to another is no issue at all. It's simple, seconds. But once you try to move data like 1 million, 2 million records, it will take a long time. It will affect performance and affect the availability of the solution. So you need to start thinking this from day one. And here, it wasn't a problem of BizTalk itself. It was a problem of designing the solution from the requirements that we didn't have the right requirement from day one. So what we did was redesign the solution and, of course, scaling up a little the environment. And until now, everything is working fine. We are good for phase two, that we have more like 12 companies going to BizTalk. And this will impact all the production manufacturing of the client. So they are really happy with the solution, client happy, success story, okay? So now let me tell you another one. And this is, I don't have the client name, cannot use it, but this is real scenario, guys. And it was how to achieve these 3 seconds. 3 seconds is not, sometimes you see 3 seconds is a lot, but you will see that 3 seconds is good. And by the way, don't go home and say, Sandro did that, we all can do that, okay? So be careful, okay? This is not a solution for everything. You need to realize and be sure what you are doing. It may affect your environment also. So be careful how to use all of this. And sometimes it's not the solution for everything. So we had this bank client, and they were running BizTalk 2004. And we are migrating the solution to 2016. And it was as-is migration. So we don't do nothing. It's just migrating and tuning for actually if something fails between 2004 and 2016, fix mappings or something like that, and that's it, as is. And we have this concept of composite orchestrations and API management, but it's not Azure API management. We actually have Azure API management also, but we have custom API management. So when you reach to the bank to open an account, you go to the terminal, open account. It goes to several layers. I simplify that with API. It goes to what they call a composite operation. And basically what it is that orchestration will call 3 or 4 orchestrations in an HTTP manner. Okay. I couldn't redesign the solution. This is a solution that the client has since 2004. It's working fine, okay? And of course, go to the MQ agent and IBM AS400, and they told me, Sandro, we have an issue. This is taking 1 minute and 30 seconds to process, and in production in 2004 takes 3 seconds, okay? I try in Q&A environment, it was taking 30 seconds. And in production was 1 minute and 30 seconds. I couldn't rely on what was installed in the environment, but we cannot use DevOps. They have a contract with a partner. We need to provide the MSIs, they need to install it, all of this stuff. Sometimes life is not that simple. And so we need to deal with that. The first thing is I deploy the last bits, just to make sure, but I still have this issue. So, and the problem was, again, observation. I could start using extra tools, process monitor, and all of this stuff. I choose it simple. I put full tracking. I don't care. 1 minute, 30 seconds, or 2 minutes will not affect. So, full tracking. And I then realized that I was calling an expression shape, and that expression shape has a code to call an HTTP server, a service by code. It was taking 20 seconds. Okay? Only that shape, 20 seconds. Okay, we know that we had an issue with that service. We struggle and address that first. Okay, and we just doing simple stuff. So we end up doing a telnet to the domain. The domain was responding 20 seconds. So the issue was to resolve that name. It was going to one active director, another active director, and it was, I don't know. It's network issue. I don't care about that. I just know that it was not directly. It was keeping routing between several machines because they have several domains until you find the domain. So it was a network LDAP issue, and we solved that by going to the host file and say, for that domain, go to that IP address. That's it. I went to 20 seconds from 1 second. They need to solve this, but at least I fixed that. Now I have 1 second. So I'm okay with that. 1 second is okay. It's way better than 20, so I just reduced 1 minute and 30 seconds for 1 minute. Okay, good start. Okay, second, we end up doing this Excel sheet with timings and okay, I was starting the main orchestration, called the first atomic, and I saw that I was calling at 12:22, and the orchestration was starting 20 seconds later. And we saw that for the atomic, second atomic, and so on and so forth. And we realized this is warming up. Everything is warming up. And you know, the first call is slow, okay? And we had HTTP warming up, so IAS warming up, orchestration warming up, different other IAS warming ups, orchestration warming ups. We had MQ agent warming up. Everything was so. And they were facing this problem a lot, and not really in 2004, because 2004 was a continuous environment. Everything was running there. And we only moved a small subset, was like 16 orchestration from 800 to 2016. So it was a call, then the second call was 11 seconds, which is good, not 30 seconds, 3 seconds, but 11 seconds. But then it was like 20 minutes without any call, and then another call, 1 minute and 30 seconds again, warm him up. So what we did, first thing, I went to 2004, and then the client told me that Microsoft was there for a year to tuning everything. And I said, thank you, you can warm me up since day one, I could do the same. So I went to 2004 doing reverse engineer to see what Microsoft did. And the first thing was, once an assembly goes to memory, it never leaves memory. So I went to BizTalk to the BizTalk configuration file, and I just put that xlang expression saying, okay, if you go to warming up, you never leave memory. Be careful, okay? You may have memory issues. Don't do that until you are sure, okay? I did that because they had in 2004, I have the same equivalent environment, so I was fine with that, okay? I went to IAS, and for all the application pools, I say, once in memory, do not leave memory. So all the recycle, 0, okay? Again, be careful, memory issues. I went to MQ agent that has a default 50 minutes recycling. So what I did was I put in the maximum 1,440, and I went to an average of each 50 minutes of inactivity taking 2 seconds to an average of 60 milliseconds. Okay? So I gained like 2 seconds more. And so I went to all of these layers, removing recyclings. It was good. It was good. I gained a lot of performance, not reaching yet the 3 seconds. Now, you need also to realize how BizTalk works internally. They have a pull interval of 500 milliseconds. Okay? So once it reaches a message, it goes to message box. The host instance is calling the database saying, hey, do you have something for me? Each 500 milliseconds. Okay? And of course, I have this orchestration, put in message box, another orchestration, calling another one, calling another one, calling another one, and go to another one. So 500, 500, 500, it's a lot of seconds. Okay? I went there, and for the critical one, saying, go to the minimum. 500 milliseconds for messaging and orchestration. If you are processing orchestration, you should reduce that. If you are doing message, you should reduce that. You don't need both. Otherwise, it's like a man that took like 20 coffees. And just, I need to work, no? You need to be careful. You have to have a good sequel, because again, you have something for me. No? There's a lot of, and I have like 8 host instances. 8 host instances doing that to the SQL Server. No? So you have to have a good SQL to do that. And I end up at again, trying, analyze again, not yet there. And I realized that once, and this communication between AS400 was asynchronous. So I send a message to AS400, and they reply to another queue. I had receive hosting getting that message. And I was realized that I was wasting 5 seconds, average. So I went to the configurations, and I saw that my pulling interval was 5 seconds by default. So again, I reduced to the minimum. Unfortunately, it's 1 second. I really like to have milliseconds. Can you fix that, Paul? Huh? Okay. And I end up putting 1 second to be faster, okay? So a lot of tuning between engine, a lot of configuration in my ports and my infrastructure about IAS, about these ports and all of kind of stuff. I did that. I went crazy, even crazier. Yeah? So we have this composite orchestration that basically is calling another one and waiting for the response. Of course, if you know how BizTalk works, he's a smart guy. BizTalk is really smart. So if it's in memory or it's running, but is waiting, it will dehydrate on the message box, receive again, and wake up. That will take time. It's small, but it takes time. So for the composite orchestration, I went to the host throttling and say, you never dehydrate. So once you're there, you are there. Okay? Again, be careful of that. You got throttling situation very fast. But I did it, and result was I'm in the 4 seconds. Average or 4 seconds. I'm really happy. I did in 2 days what Microsoft did in 1 year. So I was good, okay, I was happy. Still, again, if I restart the host instance, first request will take time. It's warming up. That's normal, man. We cannot bypass this. Even if it's in the cloud or on premise, there is a first request never counts, okay? But I need to deal with the other requests, and that's what I'm getting. I want the average of 3 seconds in the other requests. And you may think, why you are not there yet? Okay? Good point. I still need to disable the antivirus, okay? Not yet. I had sent it to the teams. They need to disable the antivirus for me to get better performance. And I'm using full tracking, so I need to disable the tracking, okay? But still, I have full tracking just to watching that. But I will reduce, now that I'm in 4 seconds, I'm starting to reduce this time for getting other numbers. Then I can do the small tracking, just the basics, port in start, port end. I get results of average that I want. Sometimes, maybe I need to configure the HTTP connection for being able to do more HTTP connections. I may thinking about SQL affinity. So basically what I did with memory, saying you have a maximum number of memory. I'm doing for the SQL cores, the CPUs, because it's dynamic. SQL will use it dynamic. I can go there and say, you use 3, leave it 1, but use 3 already. This is for you. I may think in doing that. And another stuff is priority. You know, I don't know, how many know about priority in BizTalk? A few? Okay. So you actually have this concept of priority, but in the send ports. You can go to the send ports and say, by default is priority 5. You can say priority 1 or 10. 10 is the lowest. When you have time, do it. 1 is go faster, okay? What you don't really know is also you have orchestration priority. I will not speak about that, but you can go there in tuning. But I cannot, I'm sure I don't know if it's legal or not. But you can go there in tuning. I'm trying that. I think it's fine. It's a matter of priority. You are not doing nothing crazy. You're just moving 7 to 1 or 7 to 2 or something like that. And if you are thinking, hey, I don't care, I'm in serverless. No servers anymore. I don't need to deal with this kind of stuff. No tuning, networking. No-code, low-code solution in Azure. By the way, the first product of Microsoft, no-code, low-code, is BizTalk. Just to make sure. It's still a no-code, low-code, because you can say that Logic Apps is no-code, low-code, but you can create a lot of functions and there is a code inside. So it's more or less the same. But you will face performance issues, different performance issues. So you need to deal with performance no matter you are inside on premise using BizTalk or you are in Azure. It's a different kind of performance. Number of messages, of course, can scale faster. BizTalk, you need to put hardware. But then again, throttling about number of messages, performance issues, being low latency, fast. So we will have the same issues, the same concerns in Azure or in BizTalk or on-premise in BizTalk. It's a matter of tuning your solution. It's a matter of sometimes redesign your solution. And redesigning the solution maybe on-premise or on the cloud. Okay? And I hope you like it. I don't know if I was fast enough, if I'm on time or not. But yes, 35 seconds, 35 minutes. I was on time. And I hope you enjoy. You are my contacts. If you need help in any kind of situation about training, assessments, performance, you can reach me out. I'll try to help you guys. Thank you.
Covey.co